Good evening, everybody. Growing concerns tonight over putting pot on the November ballot. It's not the issue itself drawing attention this time, but rather the possible voter fraud. The Hamilton County Board of Elections says it received petitions and registration forms from dead people, prisoners, and voters who say they never filled out the form. Local 12's Angela Ingram is at the Board of Elections downtown with how workers there flagged the fraud. Angela?
Well, Rob, workers here got an advisory from Ohio Secretary of State's office indicating that there were some issues with petitions and also voter registrations forms coming from Responsible Ohio. Now, Responsible Ohio used a company called Strategy Network in order to gather signatures. Now, both organizations are under investigation. Responsible Ohio may have gotten signatures needed to put pot on the ballot, but there's some questions surrounding how the Hamilton County Board of Elections found problems with petitions and voter registration forms.
There were at least 10 or 11 people who signed the Issue 3 petition who we know are dead. We have 4 voter registration forms that were filed for people who are dead. We had 2 voter registration forms filed for people who are in the middle of long prison sentences.
Roughly 24 out of 100,000, according to Tim Burke. Each case of fraud is a felony. Board member Alex Triantafilou says it must be investigated to protect the integrity of the process.
It tears at the very fabric of our democratic process when, people don't feel confidence in the voter rolls and in who's registering to vote and who's signing these petitions.
It's not just in Hamilton County. Secretary of State John Husted says nearly 700 accusations of voter fraud have flooded the office, coming from counties including Claremont and Delaware. Burke says he sees suspicious activity occasionally, but this is a little different.
What's unique about this is to have this many in at once.
Responsible Ohio says its team members comply with the law and have a zero-tolerance policy against voter fraud. The group also accuses Husted of waging a campaign against Issue 3 and says it is cooperating to get this resolved.
Somewhere along the way in this chain, somebody has committed a crime, and it is incumbent upon the board to find it and to find those individuals responsible.
And the next step is for the Board of Elections to issue subpoenas, and people who were responsible for gathering those signatures as well as some of their supervisors will likely receive the subpoenas. The point is to be able to identify the people who are responsible for that potential voter fraud. Reporting live tonight from the Hamilton County Board of Elections, Angela Ingram, Local 12 News. Rob, back to you.
Angela, thanks very much. The Secretary of State's office says regardless of the possible fraud, Responsible Ohio still has enough legitimate signatures to keep Issue 3 on the ballot.